Please share your thoughts in comments and like this video. A young man with black hair and blue eyes pointed his gun at the existence which made its way towards him. He was shocked to find that it was a naked woman. A chance encounter with a mysterious entity led astray the fate of this young man. A few days earlier in a slum town, the monsters from the wasteland have breached the defenses and attacked the humans in their sight. It killed everyone which it had come across. Many people were running for their lives, and among them, this young boy was also running for his life. But unlike others who had their mind preoccupied with survival, he was searching for the weapons which would increase his chance of survival. He was the native of the slum town named Akira. He suddenly heard a shooting sound and turned to see the source of it. A fat and bald man made fellow humans to serve as bait for the monsters and fired his gun. He killed humans and monsters alike. They were robbed, stepped on by others, and finally killed and had their bodies devoured by monsters. He refused to die like that there. He found a dead man who had a gun beside him and he ran to get it. He made a dive and secured the gun. He was very happy to achieve his goal. Until he saw a huge monster in front of him. It leaped to attack him and bit his left shoulder. He was in so much pain. But he remained cool and aimed the gun into the mouth of the beast and fired it. The monster bounced back from the force and he wondered if he had managed to kill that. Suddenly a bullet pierced through its head and destroyed it. The monster fell down and a man stood behind that monster. Akira found out that he was a hunter whose job is to hunt monsters and secure relics of the old world. He ordered Akira to not touch the damn monster's corpse and the gun carried by him, which is an old world relic and worth tonight's dinner. He ordered Akira to drop the gun and get the hell out of there. But Akira refused to give up his gun which he had found, so he escaped from there along with it. The man began to shoot at him as he wanted to get back that gun. Akira secured that gun so that he could be a damn hunter as well. He is determined to rise to the very top and show the world his worth. The city of Kagomayama, the insanely rich people live within its gigantic walls, shielded from the dangers of the lands they call the wastelands. A poor kid like Akira had nowhere else to go but Slum Town. They are sitting pretty right next to the wastelands and most people live and die there. But if one could get money, they would earn their way out of there. And the way to do that is to become a hunter. If one manages to make their way through the wastelands, they would reach the ruins of the destroyed old world. There are relics still remaining in those places, and at the same time, many monsters and robots were guarding that place, killing anyone they would come across. The relics they get there would sell for a very pretty penny. There were rumors that the hunter who got their hands on some insanely valuable relics and made it home, could live within the city walls. As he was escaping from the man, he ventured into that place and managed to shake off his chaser. He reached the ancient ruins of Kuzusuhara City. He hid behind a building and took his hunter license out. Since he had a weapon now, he had become a hunter. He was determined to show them what it takes to bring back the relics. But he was caught by another man. What was even worse was there was a group of 3 men. They didn't even give him time to take out his gun and placed theirs on his head at a point-blank range. One of them found that he was just a slum boy who didn't even worth the rags he was wearing. They were wannabe hunter bandits. They teased him for playing the role of a hunter with a worthless piece of paper that could be obtained by anyone who walks through the doors of the hunter's office. He proclaimed that it was the end of a Jiraiya who wanted to play little game of hunters versus monsters. He beat him while laughing. Even when he was injured, Akira didn't lose his determination. He corrected them that it was not a Jiraiya but Akira. But the name on his hunter license spelled a Jiraiya. The man teased him for that, as there was no way for a slum kid to know how to read. Akira was shocked to learn that. But he was even more shocked when he saw a lady naked there. The bandit hunters felt uneasy to see Akira spacing out like that. Akira saw a woman there whose whole body was shining brightly. She opened her mouth slowly and inquired whether he was a hunter. She also asked him whether he could see her. Akira took out his gun and pointed it at her and asked her to not move. The bandits were shocked by that and they drew their weapons as well. They asked him to drop his weapon as they felt that something weird was going on. Akira found out that those bandits weren't able to see that girl. He was curious about her identity. She started to move towards him and he asked her again to not move. The bandits wondered what he was seeing. They thought that it could be a ghost from the old world. The naked girl leaped towards Akira and passed through his hand, which was holding a gun. She asked him to jump inside that building in 10 seconds if he didn't wish to die. He wondered what she was talking about. She started to count from 10. She reached up to count 7 and mentioned that it was too late. She disappeared from there as she believed him to be of no use and said her farewell. Akira remembered her words and rushed inside the building. The bandits who were shocked before didn't notice him until late. As he was running, he suddenly heard a huge explosion behind him. He was thrown from there, and the place where he was before was engulfed in flames. He successfully managed to survive, and the woman materialized again near him. She mentioned that he had passed the test. She introduced herself as Alpha and was glad to meet him. She then asked him to head up the stairs to the roof and started to count from 5. As Akira had already experienced it once, he began to run quickly and inquired about what was wrong with her. A huge explosion took place again in the place he was before. He finally managed to reach the rooftop, but he was out of breath from all those continuous running. He pleaded with her to tell him what was going on. She also agreed to that but called his name as Ajira, and Akira corrected her. She told him that he was about to be killed by a weapon dog's attack, and so she gave him the support he needed. Akira wondered about that, and she asked him to see below. Below him are the creatures which are known as weapon dogs. They were originally created to police urban areas of the old world, but they're now biological type monsters. The cannons would grow out of their backs, and the nanobots inside their guts produce their guns and bullets. But Akira was curious about her and wondered whether she was a ghost. She explained that she was not a ghost but an augmented reality. She was created with high-grade technology from what the people call the old world. Akira was shocked to hear that. It may seem as though she was actually there because the sensory information is being sent and uploaded into the parts of his brain that deal with his sight and sound. Then she went to talk about her main issue and confirmed that he was indeed a hunter. She mentioned that she had a commission for him. Since he was a hunter, she counted on him to complete that. She asked him to capture a certain old ruin. Akira was confused as she asked him to capture a specific ruin instead of ruins there. He wondered if he could even reach those places. Alpha revealed that he would die frankly as those ruins were of a very high difficulty level. But she explained that she would support him perfectly as a form of advance payment. And in the event if he succeeds, she would present him with a relic that he could sell for a pretty high price. Initially Akira was surprised to hear that as it was his lifelong goal, but he regained his cool after some time. He thanked her for helping him, but he turned down her offer. Alpha was taken back by that as she gave him the best offer by analyzing all the circumstances. Akira explained that he had realized why he thought he wanted to become a hunter. Till now, he had been cheated and stepped on countless times in Slum Town. Many people offered him food and a chance to live beyond the wall. Because he believed those lies, he was cheated, robbed, and abandoned by the roadside. He had lost everything he ever had. That's why he would never let himself stepped on again. Alpha tried to convince him as this chance was due to his entire life's share of luck. So if he didn't take this contract, she believed that he would be screwed. More importantly, after this the monster below would certainly kill him and he wouldn't be able to survive with her help. She asked him whether he was really that desperate to die. Akira mentioned that he came to these ruins fully prepared for the worst. So if he was gonna die here, he believed that just meant his luck had ran out. But he also didn't feel like giving up either. Seeing his stubborn attitude, Alpha proposed for a deal. She wanted to be his support for a while, as a tryout period. If he trusted her during that time, they could enter the contract. She proposed that idea so he wouldn't have to die there at least. Akira also agreed to that, and he didn't forget to mention that he would cancel the contract if she was being suspicious even for a moment. Thus the deal was made between them. Akira explained the rules for the contract. First, he needed to absolutely follow her instructions. If he didn't, then no matter how much she might support him, she was sure that Akira would die. Now, in order to survive, she asked him to get past those weapon dogs after exiting this building. Akira wondered how the hell he was going to do that. Alpha explained that there's a pattern to the weapon dogs' movements. And if he took their individual characteristics into account and analyzed the patterns, they were no big deal. She guided him to the ground floor of the building again. Akira watched those monsters closely. He was surprised to see the cannons really growing out of their backs. Alpha mentioned that there won't be a splat of blood left on the wall if he took a blast from those. That's why she asked him to run with all he had got to get past them without even looking back. Akira never thought that her plan would be that simple. Alpha reminded him that he needed to absolutely follow her instructions. She told him to run suddenly, and he ran outside the building. But he was soon noticed by the monsters and they began to chase him. Alpha materialized between them to distract those monsters. No humans were able to see her, but the monsters that were created by humans were able to see her with their superior genes. All those monsters fired at her, but none was able to damage her. It only caused damage to the surroundings. Alpha noticed that those monster dogs have run out of bullets. But she noticed another huge presence there. A huge monster dog came there by destroying the building, and the monsters that were there previously all died from that impact. It was a huge monster dog which is 5 times bigger than the normal. It also had a horrific appearance with a huge gun on its back. Akira, who was running without even looking back, was startled by the sound and inquired Alpha about the situation. Alpha materialized near him and mentioned that she was going to give him some specific instructions now. If Akira hesitated for even a moment, he would die. But Alpha assured him that she wouldn't let him die. She asked him to stop and run again. She also made him take a right turn and put his back against the walls. She counted up to 5 seconds and asked him to return the way he came. Like that, she gave him many instructions. She asked him to pull his gun out, on her mark, to turn around and fire the entire clip. Akira wondered what a gun like this would be able to do. But he still followed her instructions. She counted from 5 to 1 and Akira was running for his life the whole time. As the count reached 0, he turned around to shoot the entire clip, and at the same time, that huge monster dog came behind him by breaking through the walls. He fired the entire clip at the monster dog's eye in front of him. Soon he fell down, and the huge monster dog also fell down alongside him. Akira was shocked and wondered if he had really managed to kill it. Alpha complimented him for his job. Akira never thought that he would be able to kill something so huge with something so small. Alpha explained that the monster was indeed big, but it had a tiny brain. Since she was the reason that Akira was able to kill that beast, she asked him to praise her support. She wanted to be showered with gratitude and believed that he would trust her now. Akira also thanked her, but he was shy about that. She asked him to enter the contract with her so she could be able to support him in even cooler ways. But Akira denied that, as he needed to think about it more. Just like that, Akira managed to stay safe in that place. He hid in a building until the last group of weapon dogs left. He came after Alpha confirmed it was safe. He thought about Alpha, who was the augmented reality as a ghost of the old world. He thought about the commission Alpha had for him. He wondered if he could really take that mission and work with this incorporeal being named Alpha. She came near him and asked whether he needed to keep searching or wanted to head back. Akira refused to go home without a relic. Alpha planned to guide him to a relic, but that place was even more dangerous than this place. But she assured him that everything would be fine as long as he followed her instructions. So Akira decided to follow her and moved to a different place. Suddenly Alpha asked him to take cover and told him to stay there for 30 seconds. Akira thought that the enemy was there. But he wasn't able to find anyone there. She asked him to move again and instructed him step by step. She asked him to crawl and run many times. After some time, Akira reached the same place he was before. But this time he took a different path that was so narrow, and he moved through it. After he reached the end, Alpha asked him to go back the way he came. Akira was tired and mad about that. Well, who wouldn't get mad to be asked to do something that was a waste of time? He asked Alpha why she even had to ask him to go through this path in the first place when she was going to ask him to go back. She replied that they simply went through there to circumvent a dangerous path. So she asked him to go back and dematerialize. But Akira didn't hear any sound coming from the path in front of him. He wondered if it was really dangerous as Alpha claimed. He peeked from that place and found that there was nothing there. Alpha shouted at him to get back immediately. Suddenly in front of him, a figure appeared which seemed to be in stealth before. It was a robot from the old world. It targeted Akira and fired many shots at him. It caused a series of explosions, but he managed to escape as its aim was slightly off from him. After destroying the surroundings, the robot checked that place once again to see any signs of Akira. It wasn't able to find him, so it went into stealth once again. After it disappeared, Akira was in the deepest place and he was injured in his stomach. He felt so much pain and the wound was also deep. Alpha came there and mentioned that he would have died if she hadn't managed to hack into the guidance system of those missiles. It was a miracle that he was even alive from that attack. Akira turned to see her and he gave an apologizing look. Alpha explained that place was an extremely dangerous area patrolled by automatons with high-tech optical distortion camouflage. She asked him about why he didn't mention that he was dissatisfied with her directions. Akira had nothing to say but apologize for his behavior. She asked him to show his wound. It was so bad that they weren't able to leave him in that state for long. She understood that he had a hard time trusting her, but she would also be in trouble if he died. And that's why she was doing her utmost to keep him alive. She asked him to believe in her at least that much. Akira felt that he wouldn't be able to become a strong hunter if he just followed her orders like that always. Alpha mentioned that he could become strong if he signed the contract with her. As long as he could believe in his strength and will to enter the contract, she swore that she would take care of the rest. Akira mumbled about the word, strength and will. He had promised himself that he would become a hunter and climb out of the slums on his own. If he didn't have the strength and will, he wouldn't be able to do anything. He understood that clearly and stood up, mustering his remaining strength. He was determined to find the strength to do it. Alpha worried about his health and got an idea. She asked him to continue deeper into the ruins. They reached the place which stored a lot of robots, which caused his injury. She guided him to a relic that she had found. It's a tissue restorative drug from the old world. She asked Akira to swallow 10 capsules from that. After that, she asked him to open a couple of them and pour the powder directly on his wounds. The powder consists mostly of surgical nanorobots, so consuming it directly would reduce the time it takes to start working. However, she asked him to brace himself as he won't get any of the sedatives. Akira finally understood what she truly meant. He felt an unbearable pain and screamed. After a few minutes, he went into a sleeping state. When he opened his eyes, he saw Alpha, who inquired whether he slept well. He was startled and pulled out his gun and aimed at her. Alpha jokes whether such a cute girl managed to scare him. Akira came to his senses and apologized. Apparently waking up to find someone looking down at him usually meant that he was getting robbed where he was from. Alpha didn't mind that and inquired about his injuries. As she mentioned, Akira was surprised to see the injury healed as it didn't hurt anymore. It looks like the capsules did their job properly. The medicine made in the old world was really amazing. Now that he was healed, they planned to venture inside to find the relic which was looking for a new home. There were numerous relics in front of him. Alpha asked him to not overdo it as he needed to carry it on his back to move past the patrols. She asked him to pick a knife and medical equipment with him. With the knife, which didn't even look like a combat knife, they decided to go back for that day. He managed to reach the slum town. As he was walking through the streets, he wondered if Alpha really wasn't visible to anybody other than him. He felt strange for a woman in such a flashy outfit to not even draw any attention at all. Alpha reminded him that people couldn't hear her voice either. So it would be like he was talking to himself to the surroundings, and they would label himself as someone with brain damage. He made his way through the place where there were numerous children and adults who weren't able to survive in this harsh world. They all looked at Akira as he was carrying something with his hands enclosing it. He finally reached his destination. It was the relic exchange department, which was administered by the hunter's office. He wondered how much they would give for this knife and medical equipment. He believed it to be 10,000 or 50,000 orum. Orum is the name of the currency there. The appraiser checked the equipment and gave him only 300 orum. He was enraged by that, as it wasn't even enough to pay for his meal. The appraiser asked him to take his hunter's license and try somewhere else if had a problem with that. Another man asked him to get out of there as he was irritated by that. Akira gets his hands on the gun and the atmosphere in the hunter's office soon becomes tense and everyone takes out their own weapons. Alpha voice managed to calm him down as she asked him not to do that. It was disadvantageous to fight there with that many well-equipped men, and his death was 100% sure. The appraiser also gave him a piece of his mind. A first-rank hunter with no reputation or achievements would only receive 300 orum regardless of the value of the relics, and that is the law there. He asked Akira to show some gratitude to even get 300 orum, as they didn't even know the value of that he had brought. He believed that it would be trash. He mentioned that it would at least take a day for them to process and estimate the value of that relic. After evaluation, they would come up with a figure which would be paid to Akira in addition to the payment he receives for his next sale. So he asked Akira to get out there to find something else to sell them. The appraiser said something like that, but he was sure that most people wouldn't make it back a second time, and he believed Akira to be in that group. Akira replied that he would be back even if had to crawl. He swore it in the face of that appraiser. As Akira was preparing to leave, he reminded him that they would use his hunter's license as identification. If he lost it, they would set up a new file and he would have to start over. He smiled at Akira as he was moved by Akira's determination. He warned him to be careful out there, which was a rare comment from him. Akira left the hunter's office with Alpha to search for another relic. After that, he went to the slum's provisioning center. The suppliers couldn't believe seeing the people eating that stuff. It's made from synthetic ingredients from some real fishy acting machines. And there were rumors that the basis for it was monster meat. But as long as it doesn't kill or mutate, anything would make it to the market of the slums. They were getting chills just by the thought of that. Akira was also having that same food. Alpha mentioned that food's got some dangerous stuff mixed into it. But Akira had no choice but to eat that as he was broke. In that case, Alpha asked him to work. She proposed to him to gather some relics, and she would also support him as they were still in the trial period. They once again entered Kazushihara city ruins. Akira was shocked to see Alpha changing into a bride outfit. She inquired whether it looked good on her and thought that Akira disliked her outfit. She wondered if Akira was requesting her to change again, as it was not his preference. Akira replied that he liked this new outfit, but he preferred the dress she first wore when he met her. Alpha thought about that and showed a playful smile. She showed her nude side just like when they met before. Akira was flustered to see her again like that. He corrected her that he meant about the dress she wore when they met. He felt so shy to see that. Afterwards, Alpha changed into a bride outfit again. Akira asked her the reason for her bride outfit. Alpha replied that it was for the same reason when she was fully nude when she met him. She explained that even though in shambles, there were places in the ruins of the world that continue to broadcast AR information. She's intervening in that transmission system and broadcasting this form over a wide range. But if one uses equipment that could receive that information, it's simple enough to see her. She wears that outfit, so it's easier to get a response out of people like that. Akira realized that someone was nearby wearing that kind of equipment, and that's why Alpha changed to a bride outfit. She warned him to not turn around suddenly. As they were watching them even now. They were two men, and both of them were well-equipped hunters. They were tracking Akira while keeping a set distance away. Akira asked her whether she was sure, as he believed that to be a misunderstanding. He felt that it was impossible and didn't know the reason why they were targeting him. Alpha explained that they might have seen him bring a relic to the exchange earlier, or they might have gotten the information about him from someone else. Regardless, it was evident that they plan on stealing his relics. She asked Akira to treat them as enemies, otherwise he would die. Akira was shocked to hear that. He was frustrated as he now had to deal with the hunters now. She asked him to enter the building as naturally as possible. Akira asked her for a way to escape from them. But Alpha planned to fight them and turn the tables against them. Akira asked her to not joke, as he was now against two armed hunters. Alpha assured him that he could defeat them with her support, so she asked him to form a contract with her. Akira came to know that Alpha was trying to show her abilities to him. He replied that he would think about it after defeating them. He was so stubborn, and Alpha determined to show how amazing her support was going to be. Akira wondered if he could really beat them. Alpha hugged him and replied that if he couldn't even overcome something like that, then becoming a great hunter would be no more than a crazy dream. She asked him to prepare himself, as he was going to manage with his willpower and determination. Akira also confirmed that he was in charge of willpower and determination, and Alpha was in the charge of the rest. They proceeded into their plan, as Alpha was determined to show her fantastic support so that he would form a contract with her. Please like and subscribe to see whether Akira and Alpha managed to defeat those two hunters who were after him. Click on the notification icon to know more interesting stories like this. Share your thoughts and comments to watch his future endeavors.